the 90s were amazing. Here's why. The movie is set in the year 1969, and we are shown the final stages of the Vietnam War. During this, an American squad member named Luke Devereaux receives an order to secure a village against North Vietnamese forces. Under the heavy rain, Luke heads towards the village only to discover a grim sight: his fellow squad members and several innocent villagers lying dead with their ears brutally mutilated. Disturbed, Luke enters a shack and finds his colleague, Sergeant Andrew Scott, who has gone completely insane. He has made a necklace of severed ears, and you can bet your sweet ass he's gonna drop a fire pun about them at some point, and is holding a young couple hostage. Luke tries to reason with Andrew, claiming that the war is over. However, Andrew gets infuriated and executes the boy in front of him. He then orders Luke to shoot the girl in order to prove his loyalty. The latter obviously refuses, saying that it is inhumane. When Andrew proceeds to do it by himself, Luke tries to run away with the girl. However, Andrew shoots Luke in the leg and throws a grenade at the girl, killing her mercilessly. So excessively. The confrontation escalates into a deadly exchange of gunfire between Luke and Andrew, resulting in both of their deaths. The next morning, an American Special Forces squad finds their bodies. The commanding officer orders the bodies to be bagged and iced, and to never discuss with anyone the truth of what really happened. Their disappearance is classified as missing in action. The scene then cuts to the present day, in 1992, when some terrorists have taken over the Hoover Dam. The situation looks intense, as the lifeless bodies of civilians are scattered along the dam's roadway. Some surviving civilians are held hostage, and one man is shot dead by the terrorists, who press for their demands to be met. Meanwhile, the deceased bodies of Luke, Andrew, and some other soldiers are reanimated and selected for the Universal Soldier, or UNISOL, the stupid short form, program, an elite counterterrorism unit. These soldiers are administered with a neural serum to maintain the susceptibility of their minds and keep their past memories suppressed. Following this, these UNISOL are deployed to the Hoover Dam to resolve a hostage situation. Amidst this commotion, a TV news journalist named Veronica Roberts arrives at Hoover Dam to cover the story, and may I just say, Hoover Dam! But since she is late again, she ends up being fired from the job. Later, as the UNISOLs infiltrate the area, they demonstrate their superior training and physical abilities. One of them even survives close-range automatic rifle fire. The UNISOL team proceeds to eliminate the terrorists one after another, eventually securing the area. A short while later, Luke begins to regain memories from his past life upon seeing two of the hostages who resemble the villagers he tried to save back in Vietnam. Turning around, he looks upon the face of Andrew, who also appears to be experiencing the same memory. But as a UNISOL, he doesn't utter a word. This distraction causes Luke to freeze and ignore radio commands from the control team. Outside, Colonel Perry, who is in charge of the UNISOL project, addresses the news reporters and gives them some vague answers. This awakens Veronica's curiosity, so she decides to sneak into the base with a cameraman in order to gather first-hand information. Back in the mobile command center, the UNISOL technician team is trying to figure out what happened at the Hoover Dam incident. Then, the UNISOLs are revealed to be genetically augmented soldiers with enhanced self-healing abilities and superior strength. However, they also have a tendency to overheat and shut down. Because of the glitch, one of the technicians on the project, Woodward, suggests that they remove Luke from the team. However, Colonel Perry tells them that the mission will proceed as planned and insists on injecting the serum. On the other hand, Veronica sneaks into the base, ignoring her cameraman's warnings. She makes her way inside and soon comes across a damaged UNISOL, seemingly wounded but still alive. Believing that he's dead, Veronica begins taking pictures, but he suddenly wakes up, freaking her out. Freaked me out too. This causes her to set off an alarm, prompting them to be spotted. As a result, Luke and Andrew are ordered to capture her dead or alive. Veronica immediately runs runs and gets in the car with her cameraman to escape. However, they sadly meet with an accident, ultimately getting captured. Later, Andrew demands the return of the camera, and when Veronica refuses, he mercilessly shoots her cameraman. This action prompts Luke to regain his memories again. Without thinking much, he then intervenes, rescues Veronica, and the two manage to escape in a Unisol vehicle. Seeing this, Andrew mumbles to himself softly about Luke being a traitor, but none of the Unisol team realize it. Upon learning about the escape, Colonel Perry sends the remaining Unisols to find Luke and Veronica. He fears that the concept of Unisols will be exposed to the public and American government because the nature of the project is still unknown by those wimps at the Pentagon. While driving away, Veronica notices Luke bleeding and urgently searches for a way to stop it. To her surprise, he sterilizes it with the car lighter. Midway on the road, the car runs out of gas, so Luke starts pushing it at a surprising speed, leaving Veronica in awe. They manage to reach a gas station, but unfortunately, it is also out of gas, and the public phone isn't working. With no choice, the duo decides to rent a motel room and spends their night there. Upon entering the room, Veronica turns on the television and sees the news of herself being framed for the death of her cameraman. Amidst this, Luke starts to heat up, so he takes off his clothes and stands in front of an air conditioner.
That ass.
However, this doesn't help, and he eventually collapses due to overheating. The little old lady across the street's watching.
Ooh, that ass.
Upon witnessing this, Veronica takes him to the bathtub and fills it with ice. This allows his wounds to heal in a rapid manner. Puzzled by what she has witnessed, Veronica heads to the reception to call the doctor, but she fails. The Unisols seem to have sabotaged all of the communication lines. Unbeknownst to Veronica and Luke, the Unisols have already tracked their location. Shortly after, the duo are conversing in their room when they are suddenly attacked by the crap name. They start running from room to room by crashing through the walls, freaking out all the other motel clients, especially the naked ones. At one point, they hide themselves under a couple's bed. There, they hold the couple at gunpoint and demand their car keys, which allows them to flee. The Unisol unit sees the car leaving and opens fire. Regardless, Luke drives through the reception and the two get away. The following day on the road, Veronica begins asking a lot of questions, but sadly, Luke doesn't remember anything. If you want to make Jean-Claude seem like a good actor, just make him a zombie with brain damage. Not long after, they pull over at a gas station. Luke leads Veronica into a room, asking her to check and remove any tracking system implanted in his body. As she does so, Veronica finds a compass pointing true north, then finds a tracker in his leg, but refuses to hurt him. As a result, Luke uses a knife to make an opening himself. Veronica is grossed out, but still inserts her fingers into the wound to remove the tracker. Following this, they set a trap for the Unisols. When the attackers breach the room, a fire erupts, leading to an explosion at the gas station. That was a real-ass explosion. As a consequence, the Unisols are engulfed by the flames. Taking advantage of this distraction, Luke and Veronica sneak into the Unisol team's vehicle, steal a bunch of files, and drive away from the scene. Just then, Andrew suddenly appears in the back seat and starts choking Luke. This leads him to lose control of the car, causing it to crash. The impact sends Andrew flying through the windshield, whereas the other two are saved by their seatbelts, enabling them to get away.
Safety first.
In the aftermath of this event, Colonel Perry is ordered to terminate the mission, so he instructs everyone to get back on the vehicle. However, Andrew's madness resurfaces, leading him to kill the Colonel and everyone else, sparing only the two doctors. Afterwards, Luke and Veronica sit in a restaurant where the latter tries to decode the information in the stolen files. During this, she notices a recurring name, Dr. Christopher Gregor, prompting her to question Luke if he knows anyone with this name. Luke responds,
Duh?
Upon further investigation, Veronica discovers Dr. Gregor's phone number, so she steps out to call him. While she's away, Luke draws everyone's attention in the restaurant by consuming an excessive amount of food. A confrontation ensues when the owner questions his ability to settle the bill. The owner tries to punch punch him, but Luke easily dodges and defeats him with one kick. The other men in the diner try to go after him, but he beats all day asses. Veronica notices this from outside and hurries to take Luke away. On the other hand, the technicians advise Andrew to cool down, as his motor indicates overheating. While in the cooling chamber, the two technicians plot to administer the serum to knock Andrew out. However, as one of the technicians walks in, Andrew senses something is amiss, and he brutally injects the technician with the same serum, killing him.
An apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Later in the evening, Andrew goes to a bar and inquires about Luke and Veronica. A local man makes fun of him, bad idea, and Andrew beats him up, terrifying everyone into answering his questions. Back in Andrew's truck, the last technician instructs a Unisol to hold a grenade, which results in a blast within the vehicle. However, Andrew doesn't give up. He takes two Unisols to a store's freezer in an attempt to revive them, but his effort proves unsuccessful. In the morning, Luke and Veronica meet Dr. Gregor, who is the originator of the program. The doctor tells them about the history of the program and how it was aimed to develop the perfect soldier. The only problem with it was that the memories of the past lives became greatly amplified. Dr. Gregor explains that Andrew is stuck in a delusion, believing that he's still in Vietnam, fighting insurgents. During this, Luke suddenly recovers memories of his past and expresses his desire to go home and meet his family in Louisiana. Just then, they hear on the news that Perry is dead, and they're blaming Veronica for this one too. Following this, Veronica suggests that they expose the Unisol's project, but Luke is already tired. The duo then steps out of Dr. Gregor's place, only to be surrounded and arrested by the police. In the next scene, the two are being taken away in the police convoy, but soon after, Andrew and a Unisol GR76 starts chasing them in a truck. He shoots the officers and kills the bus driver, causing the bus to lose control. Remember, kids, this is the days before CGI. This scene is bonkers. After a while of chasing, Andrew starts yeeting grenades and going,
Woo! Yeah! Yeah! Oh, yeah!
Then, the police bus and the Unisol truck both drive off a cliff. Just before the vehicle plummets off, Luke manages to kill GR76 and jump away. When the other cop from the convoy shows up, Veronica knocks him down, and the duo takes his car to escape. Then, Luke and Veronica head back to Luke's family farm in Louisiana. Unfortunately, Andrew still manages to track them down. He reappears at their location and takes Luke's family and Veronica hostage. Following this, Luke confronts him, leading to a fierce fight between the two. Andrew's use of muscle enhancers enables him to mercilessly beat Luke's ass. Meanwhile, Veronica uses the sharp spikes of a hay harvester and manages to free herself from captivity. She then attempts to escape, but Andrew throws a grenade, just like the beginning. As the battle continues, Luke manages to get a hold of the muscle enhancers, and he injects himself with one. Now evenly matched, Luke starts fighting back with his newly found strength. Soon after, he manages to impale Andrew on the spikes of the harvester, and then activates it, shredding him to pieces.
You're discharged, Sarge.
In the aftermath, Luke releases his family before venturing to the explosion area. He finds Veronica, who has survived the blast, although sustaining some injuries. The movie ends as the two of them share a romantic hug. Luke is still just a zombie with half a brain, but that ain't gonna stop Veronica from tapping that. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.